Energy for muscle contraction and slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibres. So the objectives are to understand the role of ATP and phosphocreatine in muscle contraction and know the structure, location and general properties of slow and fast skeletal muscle fibres. So ATP and CP provide the energy for muscle contraction. So much energy is needed when muscles contract that ATP gets used up very quickly. ATP has to be continually generated so exercise can continue, and this happens in three main ways: aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, or the ATP creatine phosphate system, CP. Aerobic respiration. Most ATP is generated via oxidative phosphorylation in the cell's mitochondria. Aerobic respiration only works when there's oxygen, so it's good for long periods of low intensity exercise like walking or light jogging. Anaerobic respiration. ATP is made rapidly by glycolysis. The end product of glycolysis is pyruvate, which is converted to lactate by lactate fermentation. Lactate can quickly build up in the muscles and cause muscle fatigue, where the muscles can't contract as forcefully as they could do previously. Anaerobic respiration is good for short periods of hard exercise, for example, a 400 metre sprint. ATP creatine phosphate system. ATP is made by phosphorylating ADP, adding a phosphate group taken from creatine phosphate. CP is stored inside cells and the ATP-CP system generates ATP very quickly. CP runs out after a few seconds, so it's used during short bursts of vigorous exercise, for example a tennis serve. The ATP-CP system is anaerobic, it doesn't require oxygen, and it's lactic, it doesn't form any lactate. Slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibres. Skeletal muscles are made up of two types of muscle fibres, slow twitch and fast twitch, and the different muscles have different proportions of slow and fast twitch fibres. Slow twitch muscle fibres. Slow twitch muscle fibres contract slowly and can work for a long time without getting tired. This makes them good for endurance activities, for example long distance running and maintaining posture. High proportions of slow twitch muscle fibres are found in muscles used for posture, for example muscles in the back and calves. Energy is released slowly through aerobic respiration in slow twitch muscle fibres. They have lots of mitochondria and blood vessels to supply the muscles with oxygen. The mitochondria are found near to the edge of muscle fibres, so that there's a short diffusion pathway for oxygen from the blood vessels to the mitochondria. Slow twitch muscle fibres are also rich in myoglobin, a red coloured protein that stores oxygen, so they're reddish in colour. Fast twitch muscle fibres. These contract very quickly but also get tired quickly. This makes them good for short bursts of speed and power, for example sprinting and eye movement. High proportions of fast twitch muscle fibres are found in muscles used for fast movements such as the legs, arms and eyes. Energy is released quickly through anaerobic respiration using glycogen in fast twitch muscle fibres. They also have stores of PCR, so that energy can be generated very quickly when needed. Fast twitch muscle fibres have few mitochondria or blood vessels. They don't have much myoglobin either, so they can't store much oxygen. This gives them more of a whitish colour. So, exam question. ATP is an energy source used in many cell processes. Give two ways in which ATP is a suitable energy source for cells to use. It releases relatively small amounts of energy, releases energy instantaneously, it phosphorylates other compounds making them more reactive, can be rapidly resynthesized, and is not lost from or does not leave cells. Slow and fast skeletal muscles both contain slow and fast muscle fibres, but in different proportions. The proportion can be determined by observing stained sections of muscles under a microscope. The stain used reacts with an ATPase enzyme. Muscle fibres containing a lot of this ATPase stain brown. Fibres containing little ATPase stain yellow. The diagram shows stained muscle fibres in a section taken from a muscle. Both slow and fast muscle fibres contain ATPase. Explain why. Because they need to hydrolyse ATP, because contraction requires energy, because the myosin uses ATP. The tissue in the diagram comes from muscles with a high proportion of brown staining fibres. Was the tissue removed from slow or fast skeletal muscle? Explain your answer. Fast, because there's lots of ATPase, allows rapid hydrolysis of ATP. Or you could put slow, because ATPase allows rapid synthesis of ATP. So as long as you back it up, it's fine to put either.